Yo guys, what is going on? Today we're going to make another quick, easy, fun animation. If you guys enjoy it, please hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. It does help out a lot. Anyways, let's jump into this. We're going to start by deleting everything in our scene. I'm going to go Shift A, add in a curve, and this is going to be a circle. Then we're going to look down, and when we zoom in, you can see all these flat spots. We don't want these flat spots, we want it to be nice and smooth. So we're going to bring up the render and the preview to 64. That gives it 64 segments, I believe. I'm going to do the same for the render as well. Then we're also going to go and add in a build modifier. When we hit the spacebar, you can see it's going to start building this, which is pretty cool. If you also add in the randomize, it's going to start randomly building this, which is also something that's pretty cool. But we want this not on randomized, we want it just standard, and we want to bring this all the way up so it is half a circle. What we're going to do is go over to the geometry, and we're going to bring up the extrude, and it looks like it's disappeared, but it hasn't. It's just done it like this. But as you see, it's, it's given us some depth, but we want width as well. So to get that, we're going to go add in a solidify modifier. We're going to shade flat for the time being. We're going to give this some thickness of, I'll go with 4. But like we want this to be smooth, but at the moment this just looks sharp. So the way that we're going to get around this is we're going to add in a bevel. And now you see it's got some really big bevels in it, which are obviously far too big for what we want. Just going to have to bring this up to be 0.01. That's still far too much. Yeah, 0.001. Give it 2, and we're gonna shade smooth. And now it looks a lot better. Now what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna go off this and we're gonna go Shift A. We're gonna add in a UV sphere. As you can see, this is also quite low poly. So the way that we're gonna overcome that, go into Tab. I'm gonna give it another subdivision. And where it says smoothness, we're going to bring that up. Then we're going to click on it, shade smooth, and it's pretty smooth. Now we're going to go back to this Bezier circle, and we're going to hit S. Just going to scale it up. Maybe, maybe we'll make this a little bit thicker. And guys, we can edit this as much as we want, and it won't affect anything until we're about to do the next step. So like until we do this step that we're about to do, you can change this and it won't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and add in, or we're going to go and convert this to mesh. So go menu search, then convert to mesh. Now if we hit the edit key, you can see it's got a load of meshes, and that's great. That's what we wanted. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go look down on it, and we're going to go Shift D and duplicate it. Then S, we're just going to scale it up a little bit more. And we're just going to do this a few times. So Shift D, and hit S and scale it out again, and probably do it, I don't know, one more time, because why not, right? As you see, these are getting a bit chunkier, but there's not really much we can do about that. So guys, we're going to rotate these. So what you need to do is hit R, then R again, and you can just rotate it, and wherever you rotate it will rotate on the center origin point. So just put them anywhere you want. So now what we need to do, guys, is right, if we go over here to this one, you can see all of these, this one is at these settings, this one's at these settings. Like, it's going to be a nightmare to remember all of these. So select all of them, go Control A, and we're going to apply rotations. So everything is rotation at 0. If I was to obviously rotate on the X, that rotates one way, and this, to be on an X, rotates completely different. Sorry, the Y and the Y. So guys, now what we need to do, give these an actual animation. So first we're going to go over to the edit preferences, and we're going to go to animations and make sure that's on linear. Pick any one you want. I'm going to pick this one that I've put here, and we're going to animate them on this X and the Y. So hit I and I, making sure that you're on frame 1, and let's drag this all the way to the end, 250. And then we're going to change this to 360. I'm also going to change this one to 360. Then hit I before you do anything else, so it inserts a keyframe. You can see this spinning like so. Now we just need to keep doing random settings for each of these. So now let's pick our next one. I'm going to pick this one, hit I to insert a keyframe, drag it all the way to the end. And this is going to be negative 720. And this, let's go with 360 and hit I to insert a keyframe. Now we'll see that this is also spinning faster, and obviously the closer they are to the center, probably want to make them go fastest or slowest, and then fastest on the outside. It's up to you. For this one, I'm gonna go and just hit I to insert that keyframe, a rotation, and bring it all the way to the end. And why not give it 1080? It's gonna be really fast, this one. That's 3 rotations. No, 3 or 4. I'm just really slow with math today. And we're going to give this 720. Then I to insert that keyframe. Now we're going to play this. There we go. And we've got one more to edit. So let's get on and do this one. Obviously into that keyframe, and let's give this one negative 360, negative 720. Oh, right, don't do what I did. Obviously make sure that you always move them to the end, and then we're going to do negative 360 and negative 720. Enter I. Now if we play this, got everything crazily spinning around it. So now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go shade just one of the objects, and then we'll apply it to all of them. So we're going to go over to this view, and then we're going to go shade it, and this is just going to be this material, and we're going to make it metallic. Then what we're going to do is we're going to select everything, hold down shift, and obviously click on this ball, make sure that the sphere is the one that's in orange and everything else in the red. Then go Control L, and then go link materials. So now everything else has been linked with this metal material. Then what we need to do is go to the shading tab. Then what we're going to need to do, guys, is we're going to need to add in a nice color ramp to kind of make it look a bit weathered. And you've probably seen me do this obviously quite a few times. It ended up doing this on most of my tutorials. Then we're also going to add in a Musgrave. Then go Control T, and it'll apply the texture, it will apply the node wrangler. And if you haven't got that, go up to Edit, Preferences, and then Add-ons, and type it in, Node. Make sure that's just ticked on. Then we're going to go from the object and the height to this factor. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this detail all the way up. Nice 16. Always want a lot of detail. Going to bring the image down. And we're getting this really kind of scuffed metal look. Then you're going to get this. Going to bring this metal down to, this scale down to 0.45. Then finally what we're going to do is we're going to bring this, make this black lighter. With this white, we're just going to bring this and try and match this a little bit more. Bring this white in. Then guys, we're going to make sure, now we're going to add in a big cube. And this big cube, like in the last tutorial, we're going to use it as to emit some volume, like atmosphere in a way. So we're just going to go Shift A, add in a cube. Then we're going to go S5, enter, and go Control A, and apply all transforms. Then we need to go over to the shading, hit new, and we're going to delete this principal shader. I'm going to go Shift A, add in a principal volume. I'm going to connect the volume to the volume, and then we're going to change this density to 0.1. And now we can see our ball, but we can also see this kind of smoke. I'm going to go ahead and take the world out of it. But then another thing that we need to do is make sure that this is blacked out. Might want to make this down a little bit less density, but we can always bring it up if we're not happy with it. Then we're going to go back to this layout, and we're going to add in a point light. We go G, just going to move it up. And of course, we can't really see anything right now. See? So let's just bring this power all the way up to 1000 maybe. And there we go. Looking pretty cool, but we can still add more. But first we need to go over to our render settings, make sure ambient inclusion is on, bloom is also on, and screen space refraction. Then what we're going to do is get this point light. We're going to go Shift D, duplicate it, and move it on that y-axis. And probably change this color to a nice orangey red. And maybe change this to some bluey color. Maybe also bring these in so they're almost hidden. And then finally move this one in. G, Y. We're getting that really cool look. And finally, let's just add in a camera. We'll go G, Z, Z. Turn this on just so we can see where our camera is. My mouse is broken. No, right, it's there. So G, Z, Z. View our camera. So go camera, active camera. And we're going to give this 17mm. Go G, Z, Z. And there we go, guys. We can play around with this, making this look really cool. We can bring up the density of the volume, play around with it, have so much fun with it, guys. Hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like. If you didn't, drop a dislike, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.